years. Steve Bodnay joins us tonight with all his color for a look at that change. Steve.
And you're right, when I was a little boy, I dreamt of growing up to ride off into glory and fame with General Custer on one of these beautiful horses. Now, of course, that image of Custer and his men has changed. And along with that changing image, the changing image of Native Americans. For a nation struggling through World War II, he was the ultimate hero. Errol Flynn is the flamboyant General George Armstrong Custer, sweeping across the Montana plains, chasing the evil red men, and riding into fame and glory. By 1970, the general had come full circle. In Little Big Man, Richard Mulligan played a power-crazed egomaniac who thought exterminating the Plains Indians would earn him a seat in the White House. While both those Custers met the same violent end, the real truth of the character lies somewhere in between.
And Custer and his men met up with...
Trevor Brown high school history teacher Ann Bruce helps her students search for the real Custer.
As far as teaching Custer, when I was in high school 25 years ago, America never did anything wrong. That's no longer true today.
Basically, we're learning that the Indians were treated unfairly and they were forced to live on reservations and forced to change their way of life.
It's a history lesson most of us never had.
The Indians always been the bad guys. He's always a thief.
For Ted Smith, leader of the Tano Basin Apache tribe, that lesson has always been clear. Here at Fort Verde, the cavalry also came, and their mission was the same as Custer's: eliminate the Indian problem.
They start raiding Indian camps. And they start killing children, killing old people. And so we had to do what we had to do.
Smith says that the fighting that followed reduced his tribe from thousands to less than 500.
All right, here we go, please. Positions, everyone.
As the portrayals of Custer and those he rode against change, the treatment of today's Native Americans is also changing.
Instead of the Indians being portrayed as a bad guy, now he's a good guy.
You can't help but wonder how the general would view this new chapter in American history. Now tomorrow night, we're at 10 o'clock, we're going to introduce you to Rodney Grant, the young Native American actor who plays Crazy Horse in the ABC special. You may know him better as Wind in His Hair from the Kevin Costner movie Dances with Wolves. Frank and Ann, if you want to find out more about the cavalry in Arizona, come out to the Superstition Mountain Museum in Apache Junction. They've got all these uniforms. You can learn a lot.
It's a fascinating period of our history, isn't it? Thank you very much.
Be careful with that frisky little horse.
Be feisty.
Historical look at General George Armstrong Custer and the Native Americans he battled.
Actor Rodney A. Grant portrayed the great Chief Crazy Horse in the production, and tonight Steve Bodnay introduces us to this actor and to the path he has taken to stardom.
He fits the role to a T. Stoic face, long blowing hair. Rodney Grant's Crazy Horse.
For them to portray this Indian, this Native American leader this way, you know, is like 100% turnaround, which really makes Native Americans feel good about themselves, make them feel proud of who they are.
The Tonka, Buffalo. The fierce one, as I call him, seems a very tough fellow.
All right. Grant first showed that Native American pride as Wind in His Hair in Kevin Costner's hit movie Dances with Wolves.
Kevin Costner was a very exceptional man, and that I think he can understand, being an actor himself, how it is to have creative control of the character. A. Grant.
As Grant adapts to stardom, he remembers a time when he had lost control of his own character, growing up on the Omaha Indian Reservation in Nebraska.
I came from a rugged past, and I was exposed to everything, to alcohol, to drugs, to jails, to institutions. But I turned that around because I cared about myself, and I rose above it. And if I can, I know that anybody can.
Grant's reservation is a long way from the hustle and bustle of LA, but he says he hopes the work that he's doing here will reach back to that reservation and help the young people who are living there. Grant still pounds the LA beat, searching for his next role. But for the first time in his life, there's peace.
And if nothing else happens, I'm happy with what I've accomplished. I'm happy that I can inspire other people to say, if he can do it, so can I.
And no matter what his future holds, he's certain about this.
I'm a Native American, and then I'm an actor.
For Grant, as well as his audience, that has added up to a winning combination. Steve Beaudenay, News Channel 3 in Los Angeles.
And what an incredible performer he is.
Yeah, what a nice story that was, too. Okay, in sports tonight, what's up?
We've got